Who are you? Can you share with the people your story, why you're here, why you're even willing to go talk to camera after being part? And the audience wants to know.
Well, again, thank you, Patrick,
Anytime.
for having me.
Yes.
Thank you, all the team. The reason because I'm here is because I want the world to know the truth.
Okay.
When I was sentenced, I told the judge and looked to the press and said, tell the world that I am an innocent man. Sooner or later, you will find out. Now that you are giving me the opportunity, we are going to talk about things that I haven't said it before.
Okay.
And I encourage you that you can go deep into this and you are going to see things that are really scary. I couldn't believe that after being called the champion against narco trafficking in Central America, then the deep state and some agents, some public officials in the United States, they were indicting me when they were giving me recognition prizes. How this started? Honduras became the main bridge between South and North America for drugs to come through Honduras and then to Mexico, as you said it before. But the thing is this, with that came a heavy price to the Honduran people. 80% of all the violence was related with drug trafficking. So when you wake up and somebody tell you, I was a Speaker of Congress, and somebody said to me, Mr. Speaker, this morning we have the report 76 people were killed last night. And I said, and the day before, 75. And we are just 8 million people. When you have that kind of problem, you cannot, in myself, I cannot look the other way. If you look the other way, it's because you already made a decision not to do that. But I am not that kind of guy. And when I was trying to do something, some other people in Congress, they were telling me, look, Mr. Speaker, they are going to kill us. Remember, a couple of months ago, two years ago, they called the two anti-drug czars that we have in Honduras. Mm-hmm. But remember what happened in Colombia when they passed the extradition law. A lot of terrorist attacks, a lot of killings, judges, policemen, so many other people. So people were scared, but I said, we have to do it. And what I did was what nobody wanted to do. So we amended our constitution to allow the extradition for almost a century. It wasn't allowed extradition of Honduran nationals to any other country. To do that, I know that I was putting my life in risk, but most scary for me was putting my family's life in risk. Mm-hmm. But at one point, you have to make the decision. What are the country that we are going to inherit to our children if it is a mess? Then we became the country with the highest murder rate in the planet.
Wow. What year was this? What year is this?
Was from 2009, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And I became Speaker of the House in 2010. So I started to create those instruments in order to go after the narco traffickers. I did also lead and approve in Congress the anti-laundry money law, the seizing law. We create a very controversial law that some people from the United States didn't like it, the Democrats, but from the very far left. They call it the shooting down law. Illegal planes were coming from Venezuela with cargo, and all of them were landing in Honduras. And what happened, and this, what I'm going to say, I haven't said it before. Before I became president, there were 3 deadly incidents in Honduras. They shot down 3 planes. But you know what happened with the chief of the Air Force? Because of the pressure of the U.S. government, the Democratic administration, the president of Honduras at that time, he fired the chief of the Air Force. And when I realized that, I said, how can you do that if this guy, what is he's doing is doing his duty? In any country, if there's an illegal plane carrying drugs that are deadly, and it is in the Honduran airspace, what are you going to do? You have to do something. And they fire him. So I said, we are going to create a law with all the protocols based in the international treaties, and we create that law. But before I started as a president, I received the visit of the U.S. ambassador.
And by the way, who fired him? Was it Roberto
No.
Michelite?
No.
Who fired him?
The guy who fired was Pepe Lobo.
Pepe Lobo.
Yes.
But he's from the same party as you.
Yes.
So he's also Republican.
Yeah.
He would be a conservative.
He's kind of a conservative.
Okay, so just to bring context, so the one prior to him, Roberto Micheletti, if I'm saying it correctly, he was a Democrat. He's a liberal. Then Lobo is previous to you, comes in. He fires the chief of Air Force who shot down 3 planes that were flying drugs into Honduras and then going to the next state.
Yes.
How did he explain that to the people when he fired the chief of Air Force? What did he say on TV?
They didn't say anything. When I asked them, they told me, we have a pressure from the United States saying that we cannot do that. And I said, why? And they said that some time ago in Peru, there was an accident. They shot down a civilian plane. There were some passengers from missionary people, nuns. And I said, now we have to create a law to be sure of that. Or Air Force, although it is small, but it is the most professional in the region. But when we create that, I'm going to say something else too that I haven't said it before. And if you dig into the classified cables from the State Department and also from the Defense Department, you are going to find out. I met with the former South Commander before I became president. It was in January of 2014. It was a private meeting. But then he made it public because he went to have a meeting in the Senate. And we talked about with him, was General Kelly. And I told him, listen, General Kelly, you know what's going on in Honduras. We're going to extradite people. Mm-hmm. It's going to be dangerous. We need the backup of the United States because we are not as big as Colombia to support the terrorist attack that we are expecting. We are going to transform the police. I need to use the military force because as in the United States, the military in Honduras is very well regarded by the people. So we have to create so many other instruments, but we want to work side by side with you. I have to reform the tax collection system and so many other things. And he said, but if you use that law, the shooting down law, we are going to be with our hands tied because the State Department doesn't like that. And I said, listen, the new law is based on the International Treaty of Chicago. And there is a lot of protocols that, and we are professionals regarding our Air Force. And so later on, I found out when I saw the cables during my trial, the classified cables, that he told the State Department, the President Hernandez told me that he was going to do this because it was a very important deterrent. After a year, he said it in Congress. Before that law, let's say every year was about 300 flights, illegal flights. After that law, we have just 2. And so that's the reason, because in the international narcotics strategic report that the United States issues every year, we are improving the whole time that I was in office. And my government was certified also as a trusted partner in the fight against narco traffickers. And who made those reports? The DEA, the Coast Guard, but also Customs. And there is in Key West, they have a task force of 19 agencies monitoring that. I was invited there with my whole security council team, and was invited to the White House, to the CIA, to the FBI, to the DA at the very high level, and we were discussing how this fight was going on. And everybody was saying, Juan Orlando is doing unprecedented things, and the results are historic. But also, they said, Juan Orlando, he's a man of his word. He managed to approve the extradition when he was a Speaker of Congress, and then when he became president, he was the first to use that. We extradited during my term about 30 kingpins from Honduras. But later on, they used that extradition treaty to extradite me. How is that hypocrisy?
Who did? U.S.?
The Biden administration.
The Biden, now we know General Kelly and Trump, how General Kelly feels about Trump.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, he called him a true fascist and made some comments. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.